it's a Wednesday. It's 22 in front of 9. It's time to welcome in. He's been part of the morning show for 30 years. That's Dr. Joe Congini, Sports Medicine Center, Akron Children's Hospital. Dr. Joe, good morning, my friend. And what do you have for us today?
Ray, I always want something that be interesting to you, that you'll like about it. And so thinking about different things. One of the big things everybody's talking about, of course, in the high school sports world is NILs and the OHSAA, and that's going to be a hot issue for a while. But it's not really a sports medicine topic all the way. So I decided not to go in that direction. There's some good news out about concussions, and you know that I love to keep your audience up on what's going on with concussion, but it's nothing really new and red hot. We'll talk about concussion coming up in the next few weeks. But I believe the Fall Classic is starting on Friday night. And one thing that working with Ray Horner for a long time, he loves baseball, and I think, we love the Fall Classic. And so the World Series is starting. And there's an injury and a Cleveland player that's kind of involved in that, as we all know, and that's Shane Bieber. So I was going to talk a little about Shane Bieber's trials here. He started the big game, the epic game, Game 7, a couple nights ago, coming off his UCL, his reconstruction, his rehabilitation, and he got a chance to be in that huge, which Toronto won, to bring them back to the World Series after many, many years. He was great with us in Cleveland baseball. We loved Shane Bieber and all of our great pitchers that we had, but he was one of the best. In 2020, he won the Cy Young. He trended downward a little bit as I looked into his career a little bit there. He trended downward for a couple of years after that. In fact, in 2023, Ray, he was only 6-6, and he complained almost all year of kind of a bruised elbow type picture. A lot of times these people that tear their UCL, they get these kind of partial tears or partial injuries, and that may have been the case in 2023. He didn't have a very good year, and in his second start of 2024, he tore the ligament on the inside of the elbow known as the ulnar collateral ligament. 10 days later, he had surgery on April 12th. He didn't start a baseball game again until August 22nd of 2025. It was about 18 months. Typically, people can expect 14 to 18 months. I heard that his rehab took a little bit longer, but in August of this year he started. He, by then, was traded to the Blue Jays. He was traded for a top prospect, a number 5 prospect in their system, a guy by the name of Kyle Steffen. Gosh, I read about this kid. I'm pretty excited to get a chance to see him with the Guardians. But right now, Shane Bieber has bigger things on his plate. He's getting ready for the World Series. And this week he started that epic Game 7. Which, of course, the Blue Jays won. Now, the other side of the story that I wanted to tell was the Tommy John side. Why in the world does everybody know it as and call it Tommy John surgery? And I love to talk about the history of sports. You know that. Tommy John was a long-term pitcher. He pitched for 26 years. And, of course, the first team that he ever pitched with as a rookie was the Cleveland Indians in 1963. He pitched, Ray, from 63 to 1989 with 6 different teams. But in the middle of that career, 1974, he got this career-threatening injury where he tore a ligament in his elbow. People used to not talk about it much. They just said, hey, your career's over, you're done. But he was, a very durable pitcher, and he wasn't about to just say he was done, and he went to the very famous sports medicine orthopedic surgeon by the name of Frank Jobe. I'm almost kind of surprised they didn't call it the Jobe surgery instead of Tommy John, because after that, all pitchers who kind of tore their UCL went out to L.A. to see Frank Jobe. He really refined this surgery known as the Tommy John surgery. Tommy John went on to win 288 games, and that's the second most by a pitcher not in the Hall of Fame. 288, 6 teams, and he proved that it could be done, that you could come back and be durable after having that ligament fixed. Now, the surgery's been refined and revised, and you and I have talked about that a little. The latest is called the TJ3, Tommy John 3, for the big leaguers. The one we use for younger kids when you're not sure how long of a career they'll have right now is called the internal brace. I've talked about that here a couple times. It's a collagen-coated tape that helps repair that ligament rather than making a brand new ligament. And so we also have talked a lot about the modern pitcher is under unprecedented stress between spin rates and velocity and everything else. This has become such a very, very common injury. But this year it has a little bit of a twist on the World Series and a little bit of a twist on the guy who tore it first, and both of them have a Cleveland tie, and that's Shane Bieber and Tommy John, and I just wanted to update that today.
Yeah, that's a great story, and Shane has certainly had, he was coming back from the Tommy John, Joe, and to go to your story of last summer, then he's pitching in a rehab with our Rubber Ducks and had discomfort, if you remember last year, and they shelved him again for another couple of months. So it's been a long road back for Shane.
It's not always the smoothest road. So when you are making a new ligament, and so my experience with UCLs, some do move through it quickly, some maybe even less than 12 months, but you got to figure at least a year plus. And he did have a rocky road. You're right, Ray. I also look back to that rocky road of, I mentioned it already, 2023. He wasn't right in 2023, and I wonder if that didn't impact the fact that he tore in 2024.
Yeah, I agree with you. He wasn't quite the same, but boy, for a couple of years with us there, he was lights out, and he always says that he owes a lot to Corey Kluber, where he picked up a lot of his success, and of course, Kluber ended up being traded away as well. So good story, Joe. Appreciate it, man. You're right on the spot.
And good luck. Hey, we want to wish good luck to anybody who's come through Cleveland and done a lot of good things for us. So good luck to Shane Bieber and the Toronto Blue Jays as they face this juggernaut of L.A. And thanks, Ray. Good to have you back.
All right, my friend. We'll talk to you next week. Dr. Joe Congini, Sports Medicine Center, Akron Children's Hospital, and part of this morning show Wednesdays at this time for over 30 years.